Welcome to our deep dive into the artist business canvas.
Ooh, okay.
It's an incredible document that you shared with us. Really a guide for creatives to build a career that's actually sustainable.
Yeah.
It's not just a flash in the pan. It's like how to really make this a livable lifestyle.
It's so fascinating how Jerome Arab, the author, kicks things off
It's a great story.
with a story about his dad.
It really grabs your attention.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not your typical business advice.
No, not at all.
You know, it's the story about his father choosing to help people. And it makes you really think about what matters. You know, what actually truly matters.
It illustrates prioritizing purpose over just, conforming to expectations.
Right.
And that's what the entire document is about.
That's what it's all about.
It's constantly bringing you back to this idea that your purpose is the driving force behind a successful artistic career.
And he has this great line, purpose is the bridge between talent and sustainability.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a good one.
that's spot on, isn't it?
I think so.
So easy to get caught up in honing your craft, but without that clear purpose, it's hard to stay motivated
For sure.
and to kind of push through those challenges that are going to come up.
Think about it this way. When you know your why, it fuels your passion.
Right.
And it gives you that resilience
Mm-hmm.
to push through those tough times.
Right.
It's like having an internal compass that guides your decisions,
Absolutely.
keeps you on track.
So how can someone really pinpoint their purpose?
Yeah, that's a big question.
I mean, it sounds great in theory, but in practice.
The document suggests reflecting on those moments when you felt
Okay.
most creatively alive.
Mm-hmm.
What was it about those experiences that resonated so deeply with you?
Yeah.
What impact did you hope to make
Okay.
through your work? Those are the clues
Mm-hmm.
leading you toward your purpose.
I see.
And it doesn't have to be some big,
No.
grand, world-changing mission.
Right.
It can be as simple as wanting to bring joy to others,
Right.
sparking meaningful conversations through your art.
Yeah, that's really helpful. And here's something that really struck me in the document.
Okay.
It encourages creatives to embrace multiple forms of expression,
Yeah.
not to just specialize in one thing. I have to admit, at first that surprised me.
Yeah, it might seem counterintuitive,
Yeah.
but it's about building a more resilient creative practice.
Okay.
Think of it like diversifying your investments.
Mm-hmm.
If one area isn't performing well, you have others to rely on.
Right.
It's also about cross-pollination.
Yeah.
The skills that you develop in one area can enhance your work in other areas.
Like Donald Glover.
Exactly.
He's a great example of someone who blends music and acting and directing so seamlessly.
Yeah, but it's not just about doing a lot of different things.
Right.
The key is to find the connections between them, to leverage those overlaps, to create something truly unique.
So Glover, for example, used his music career as a springboard into acting.
Right.
He created the short film Clapping for the Wrong Reasons,
Yeah.
which featured his music and showcased his acting.
Yes,
And eventually that led to his breakout role in Community.
Yeah.
It's strategic diversification. That's such a smart approach.
It is.
It's not just about having multiple skills. It's about using them strategically to open up opportunities and reach a wider audience.
Yeah.
So for someone who's listening, they might be hesitant to branch out. How would you suggest they approach exploring multiple forms of expression?
Start by identifying the skills you already possess.
Okay.
And consider how they might complement each other. Are you a musician who loves to write? Maybe you could create a musical based on your songs.
Right. Are you a visual artist with a knack for storytelling? Perhaps animation or filmmaking?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It's about looking at your existing skill set with fresh eyes
Okay.
and seeing the potential for new combinations.
And it ties back to the idea of purpose, right? Because the more you understand your why, the clearer it becomes
Absolutely.
how those different forms of expression can really support and amplify that core purpose.
Finding the connections and building a creative practice that truly reflects who you are and what you want to achieve.
Now, let's talk about audience.
Okay.
I think we all know that in today's world, it's not just about creating great work.
Right.
It's about getting it seen by the right people.
Absolutely.
And the document makes an interesting point about moving beyond those vanity metrics like follower counts and likes.
Mm-hmm.
It emphasizes the importance of cultivating a loyal and
Yes.
engaged audience
For sure.
that genuinely connects with your work.
And supports your journey.
Absolutely.
It's not about reaching everyone. It's about reaching the right people.
Exactly.
The document uses the English Premier League
Okay.
as an example of how to build that kind of dedicated following.
Interesting.
Soccer. That's an interesting comparison.
Yeah.
What can artists learn from a sports league?
Well, think about it.
Okay.
The Premier League has mastered the art of audience engagement.
Okay.
They offer behind-the-scenes content, historical context, and statistics that go beyond just the games themselves.
Interesting.
They create a sense of belonging,
Okay.
of shared history and passion that keeps fans coming back for more.
So it's about offering something more than just the finished product.
Exactly.
It's about creating a deeper connection with your audience.
Yeah,
Giving them a glimpse into your process, your inspiration, your values.
absolutely.
So how would you suggest someone apply that to their own work?
Think about how you can create that same sense of connection with your audience. What
Okay.
can you offer that goes beyond simply showcasing your work?
Yep.
Maybe it's sharing behind-the-scenes glimpses of your creative process,
Right.
or hosting Q&A sessions,
Yeah.
or creating exclusive content for your most loyal followers.
It's about building a community around your work, right?
Yes.
Which brings us to the next topic. Community spaces.
Okay.
And this is where I think a lot of creatives stumble.
Yeah.
They approach communities with a very transactional mindset,
Yeah.
solely for self-promotion,
Mm.
but constantly shouting, "Look at me, buy my stuff,"
Yeah.
rarely works.
Right. It feels inauthentic, and
Yeah.
people can sense that.
Exactly.
The document suggests a different approach.
Okay.
It emphasizes the importance of genuine contribution
Mm-hmm.
and building meaningful relationships.
Yeah.
It's about adding value to the community,
Okay.
sharing your insights, supporting others, and engaging in authentic conversations.
Like filmmaker Ava DuVernay's Array Collective.
Yeah.
That's a great example of this.
It is.
It's a platform for underrepresented filmmakers.
Yeah.
But she goes beyond just providing a space.
Mm-hmm.
She actively mentors others, shares her knowledge, and participates in conversations that elevate the
That's-
entire community.
And then when she releases a new project,
Right.
she has a whole network of people
Yes.
genuinely invested in her success
Yeah.
because they've seen the value that she brings to the community.
So instead of treating communities like a billboard for your work,
Right.
think of them as opportunities to connect with like-minded individuals,
Mm-hmm.
share your passion, and contribute to something larger than yourself.
Yeah,
It's about building relationships, not just collecting contacts.
exactly.
Now, let's shift gears and talk about channels.
Okay.
It's all about how you get your work seen, right? From galleries to digital platforms to social media.
Mm-hmm.
So many options these days.
Right.
The choices you make have a huge impact on
Yeah.
your reach, the way people experience your work, and even your potential for generating income.
Absolutely.
The key is to choose channels that align with your goals, your values, and your target audience.
Mm-hmm.
The document highlights Nelson Makamo,
Okay.
the South African artist
Yeah.
who partnered with BMW
Interesting.
to showcase his art on a special edition car.
Wow.
It's a great example of thinking outside the box when it
Yeah.
comes to channels.
It was a brilliant move
It
because
got-
it allowed him to reach a global audience
Right.
that might never have encountered his work in a traditional gallery setting.
So it really challenges us to be more creative
Yeah.
and strategic in how we think about channels.
Yeah.
It's not just about what's familiar, what everyone else is doing.
Right.
It's about finding the right platform
Yeah.
to connect with your specific audience.
Exactly.
And that might mean exploring unconventional partnerships,
Mm-hmm.
experimenting with new technologies,
Yeah.
or even creating your own unique channels.
For sure.
Now, one thing that really stood out to me in the document
Okay.
was the section on communication. It's not just what you communicate,
Yeah.
it's how you communicate it.
Absolutely.
That's a crucial point
Yeah.
that is often overlooked.
It is.
The document breaks it down into different types of communication.
Hmm.
Formal writing for things like artist statements and proposals,
Right.
casual writing for social media and newsletters,
Yep.
visual communication through branding and imagery.
And verbal communication.
Of course.
Like artist talks and interviews, and even nonverbal communication, like your body language and how you present yourself.
It's about being mindful of how you're coming across
Yeah.
in every interaction, both online and offline.
Mm-hmm.
The document emphasizes the importance of observing
Yeah,
how people respond to your communication.
exactly.
Are they engaged, confused,
Mm-hmm.
ready to commit?
It's about reading the room, so to speak, and adapting your approach based on the feedback you're receiving.
Right. So you might need to adjust your tone,
Yeah.
your level of detail, or even the medium you're using
Mm-hmm.
to effectively connect with your audience.
Oh, sure.
Okay, so we've talked about purpose,
Yeah.
expressing yourself in different ways,
Uh-huh.
finding your audience, being part of a community,
Mm-hmm.
choosing the right channels to get your work seen.
Yep.
Now, let's dive into a challenge that many creatives face.
Mm.
Figuring out what to prioritize
Yeah,
amidst all the demands on their time and energy.
that's a big one.
And the Artist Business Canvas introduces this helpful framework
Oh, great.
called Minimum Viable Product and Riskiest Assumption Test.
Okay. It might sound a little
Technical,
technical.
but it's actually a very practical approach.
It is.
So let's break it down
Yeah, let's do that.
so everyone can understand how to apply it.
It starts with identifying the biggest risk to your project's success. What's the one thing that if it doesn't work, the whole project could be derailed?
Okay.
That's your riskiest assumption.
Okay.
And the MVP, that's a simplified version of your project
Right.
that allows you to test that assumption quickly.
So instead of spending months or even years perfecting something
Right.
that might not resonate with your audience,
Exactly.
you put a basic version out there
Yeah.
and see how people respond.
Imagine you're developing a mobile app
Okay.
for artists to connect with clients.
Okay.
Instead of building a full-featured app
Right.
with every bell and whistle, your MVP could be a simple website
Okay.
with basic profiles and messaging functionality.
Okay.
This lets you test the core concept with users
Yeah.
before investing heavily in development.
So it's about being smart with your time and resources.
Exactly.
It's about validating your ideas early on, getting feedback, and making adjustments along the way.
It's a much more agile way to work,
It is.
especially in today's rapidly evolving creative landscape.
So before you dive headfirst into a massive project,
Yeah.
take a moment to identify your riskiest assumption
Mm-hmm.
and figure out how you can test it with a minimum viable product.
It's a simple but powerful tool.
Okay. Let's move on to the topic of collaboration.
Okay.
It's something that's often overlooked, but it's absolutely crucial for creative success.
Mm-hmm.
The document really drives home the point that creative work
Yeah.
rarely happens in isolation.
Right.
The right partners can amplify your vision,
Absolutely.
extend your capabilities, and open doors that you wouldn't be able to open alone.
The phrase collaboration is multiplication really captures this idea beautifully.
Yeah.
When you collaborate with others, you're not just adding their skills and resources to your own.
Right.
You're creating something new and greater than the
Yeah.
sum of its parts.
I love the story in the document about Montfort Tenuta.
Yeah.
He spent months trying to get gallery representation through those formal applications, but it was a casual recommendation
Wow.
from a fellow artist that actually made it happen.
Interesting.
It really highlights the power of authentic relationships.
It does. It's a reminder that sometimes the most valuable connections come from unexpected places.
That's true.
And it speaks to the importance of nurturing your network and building genuine relationships with people who believe in your work.
The document breaks down different types of partners, which I think is helpful for understanding the various roles people can play. You get your creative collaborators, other artists
Right.
who complement your skills or share a similar vision.
Mm-hmm.
Then there are technical specialists who bring that specific expertise that you might not have.
Right.
And don't forget about business allies.
Absolutely.
They can connect you to market opportunities or help you navigate the often complex world of contracts and negotiations.
And mentors and advisors.
Of course, yeah.
They're crucial for providing guidance and strategic thinking.
Especially when you're just starting out.
Yeah.
And let's not underestimate those audience champions.
Yeah.
Those dedicated fans who actively promote your work
Right.
and spread the word.
It's about building an ecosystem of support.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
A network of individuals who believe in your vision and want to see you succeed.
But it's important to remember
Yeah.
that partnerships should be built on mutual benefit.
Exactly.
There needs to be a clear value exchange for both sides. It's not about taking advantage of others.
Right.
It's about finding ways to collaborate
Right.
in a way that benefits everyone involved.
Right.
The example of Shoma Josie, the South African musician,
Yeah.
is a great illustration of this. Her success is partly due to those strategic partnerships
Mm-hmm.
that helped package her unique style
Mm-hmm.
for both local and global markets.
It's a win-win.
It is.
Her partners benefited from being associated with her talent and originality. Right.
And she gained access to wider audiences and resources that helped elevate her career.
The document also encourages us to think strategically
Yeah.
about potential partnerships, even those that might seem far off.
Right.
It's about planting seeds, nurturing relationships,
Mm-hmm.
and positioning yourself for future opportunities.
For sure.
The analysis of Pharrell Williams' career trajectory is fascinating.
Yeah.
His early streetwear collaborations
Mm.
laid the groundwork for later partnerships
Right,
with
sir.
Adidas and even Louis Vuitton.
Yeah,
It's a masterclass in long-term thinking.
absolutely.
It shows how those seemingly small or unrelated collaborations
Yeah.
can have a ripple effect,
Mm-hmm.
opening up doors and leading to bigger and bolder partnerships down the road.
It's not just about who you know right now. It's about who you could potentially collaborate with
That's right.
in the future.
And that requires being proactive, building relationships,
Mm-hmm.
and staying open to new possibilities.
Absolutely. It's about seeing collaboration not as a one-time transaction,
Yeah,
but as an ongoing process of building meaningful connections
right,
that can enrich your journey in countless ways.
for sure.
Now let's shift gears and talk about resources.
Okay.
I think a lot of creatives get stuck in this mindset of scarcity,
Yeah,
feeling like they don't have enough of what they need to succeed.
right.
Whether it's money, time, equipment, or connections,
Mm-hmm.
there's this constant feeling of lack.
Absolutely.
And the Artist Business Canvas reframes this idea of resource scarcity.
Okay.
Instead of focusing on what you lack,
Mm-hmm.
it encourages you to strategically utilize what you already have.
Yeah.
The author shares a great personal example
Okay.
that really brings this point home.
Okay.
They had this ambitious project called Copper Bullet, but faced a daunting budget.
Yeah.
So instead of giving up, they shifted focus
Yeah.
to developing a children's book
Pictures.
set in the same story world.
Mm.
It's a brilliant example of resourcefulness.
Yeah.
They maximized their existing resources, created a tangible product to engage audiences,
Right.
and built momentum without waiting for the perfect conditions.
Exactly.
It's a reminder that we often have more resources
Right.
at our disposal than we realize.
Right.
The document broadens the definition of resources beyond just money.
Yeah.
It encourages you to consider your physical resources,
Okay.
like your studio space or your equipment,
Yeah.
your digital resources, like software, online platforms, your website,
Your human resource.
your human resources, of course,
Yeah.
like your network, your team members, your mentors, and don't forget your intellectual resources,
Yeah.
your skills, your knowledge, your unique creative processes, and even your personal experiences. These are all valuable assets
For sure.
that could be leveraged.
Yeah.
So it's about shifting your perspective from I don't have enough to how can I utilize what I already have to move forward.
It's about being resourceful, creative, and adaptable.
Absolutely.
Finding ways to make things happen.
Now let's tackle a topic
Yep.
that many creatives find daunting. Cost management.
Yeah.
It's not the most glamorous aspect of being an artist,
Right.
but it's essential
It is.
for building a sustainable career.
Absolutely. You're right. Many creative businesses fail.
Yeah.
Not from lack of talent or vision,
Right.
but because they mismanage their costs.
The document emphasizes the importance of being mindful of both your obvious and hidden expenses.
Right.
We tend to think about those obvious costs like materials,
Yeah.
studio rent, marketing expenses.
Mhm.
But what are some examples of hidden costs that creatives should be aware of?
Think about your time.
Oh,
How many hours are you dedicating to tasks that could be outsourced or automated?
right.
What's the opportunity cost of taking on low-paying projects
Yeah.
that drain your energy and prevent you from pursuing more fulfilling work?
And there's the emotional cost too, right? Bringing yourself out, neglecting your well-being,
Mhm.
sacrificing your creative joy for the sake of making ends meet.
Right.
These are real costs that
Yeah.
can have a significant impact.
The document encourages a proactive approach to cost management. It's about reducing unnecessary fixed costs streamlining variable costs, maximizing your time efficiency, and reinvesting strategically
Right.
in areas that will yield long-term benefits.
So it's about being mindful of where your money is going
Yeah.
and making conscious choices that support your overall financial well-being.
And it's about recognizing that sometimes investing in yourself,
Okay.
whether it's taking a course or upgrading your equipment or simply taking a break to recharge, can be the smartest financial decision you make.
Okay, let's move out of the fun part.
Yeah.
Revenue streams.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The document emphasizes the importance of shifting from the income pot mentality
Right.
to building multiple revenue streams
Yeah.
that generate a continuous flow of income.
That analogy is really powerful.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. Instead of relying on one-time payments
Right.
that constantly need to be replenished,
Hmm.
you're creating a system that generates income even when you're not actively working.
So it's like having multiple faucets flowing into your account
Exactly.
instead of just one.
And it's not as complicated as it might sound.
Okay.
The document breaks down the typical revenue evolution for creatives. It often starts with trading time for money, doing commissioned work,
Right.
or selling individual pieces.
Right.
But as you gain experience and build a reputation, you can start leveraging your intellectual property to create multiple income sources.
So it's about moving from selling your time to selling your ideas,
Exactly.
your skills, your unique perspective.
The document highlights a surprising point.
Okay.
Even a single artwork can potentially generate multiple revenue streams.
Yeah, I was really intrigued by that idea.
Yeah.
How could one piece of art
Yeah.
lead to multiple sources of income?
Well, think about it.
Okay.
You could sell the original piece,
Mhm.
create limited edition prints,
Okay.
license the image for commercial use, teach workshops based on the techniques you use,
Yeah.
and even create merchandise featuring the artwork.
That's incredible.
The possibilities are truly endless
Yeah.
when you start thinking creatively.
So it completely changes how we think about the value of our work.
Yeah.
Instead of seeing a single artwork
Right.
as a one-time transaction,
Mm-hmm.
we can start to see it as a seed that can grow into a whole garden of revenue streams.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of this approach. It's about finding creative ways
Yeah.
to leverage your existing work and intellectual property to generate ongoing income and build a more sustainable business model.
It's about thinking outside the box
Yeah.
and exploring all the different ways that you can share your talents and expertise with the world.
And the document provides specific examples for different creative disciplines,
Okay.
which is incredibly helpful. Visual artists, musicians, performers, writers, they all have unique opportunities to diversify their income and create more resilient career path.
So it's about finding the strategies that work best
Yeah.
for your specific creative field and applying them to your own business model.
Absolutely.
Now, we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah, we have.
We've talked about everything from purpose and audience to channels and collaboration, from managing resources and costs to creating multiple revenue streams.
Yep.
But I want to take a step back for a moment and talk about the bigger picture. What does it really mean to build a sustainable creative practice?
It's about creating a business that supports your artistic vision
Okay.
and allows you to thrive both creatively and financially. It's about finding that balance between your artistic integrity.
I tried to be everything. A writer who could perform, a performer who could direct, a director who could produce, a producer who could coach, a coach who could parent, a parent who could run a business. I spread myself so thin trying to prove I could do it all. Then it hit me. I've done all of this so that you don't have to. You don't have to try and do it all alone. You don't have to sacrifice your business for your art or your art for your business. I built underrated individuals because I lived every creative struggle. I built it so that we could redefine the possibilities together.
We were talking about revenue streams before the break
We were, yeah.
and how even a single artwork can create multiple sources of income.
It's a fascinating concept.
Mm-hmm.
Can you elaborate a bit more on that?
Sure. Let's say you're a visual artist.
Okay.
And you've created this really striking painting.
Mm-hmm.
The most obvious revenue stream is selling the original piece, right?
Right.
But it doesn't stop there.
Okay.
You can create high-quality prints of the artwork,
Uh-huh.
maybe offering limited editions to increase the value
Right.
and appeal to collectors.
That's a great way to make it accessible to more people
Exactly.
while still preserving the value of the original.
And then you can explore licensing the image for commercial use. Maybe a company wants to use it on their product packaging and their advertising,
Okay.
or even on their merchandise.
That could open up a whole new world,
Exactly.
exposing your work to a much larger audience.
And you can't forget about the educational aspect.
Oh, right.
You could teach workshops
Yep.
or online courses based on the techniques you use to create that painting.
That's a fantastic way to share your expertise and connect with other artists and generate income while also helping others
Exactly.
develop their creative skills.
It's a win-win.
It is.
And, if the artwork is really popular,
Okay.
you can create merchandise featuring the image,
Wait.
T-shirts, tote bags, phone cases, home decor items.
It's amazing.
The possibilities are really endless when you start thinking creatively.
It's about seeing your art not just as a product, but as a brand,
Yeah.
a source of inspiration that can be translated
Exactly.
across multiple mediums and products.
It's about diversifying your income streams,
Right.
so you're not relying on just one.
Okay.
This is especially important for creatives
Yeah.
who are just starting out or who experience those fluctuations in their income.
So it creates a more stable foundation
Exactly.
for your business.
The Artist Business Canvas
Yeah.
provides some really specific examples of revenue streams
Okay.
for different creative disciplines. For musicians, it could be selling albums, streaming royalties,
Okay.
live performances, merchandise,
Yeah.
even composing music for film or television.
Wow. So many options. What about writers?
For writer,
Yeah.
it could be book sales,
Okay.
royalties, freelance writing,
Mm-hmm.
content creation, ghostwriting,
Uh-huh.
teaching writing workshops,
Right.
even speaking engagements.
It's amazing. There are so many different avenues.
There's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Right.
It's about finding that combination of revenue streams
Mm-hmm.
that works best for you, your skills, your interests,
Okay.
and your target audience.
So it's about being open to new opportunities
Yeah.
and constantly exploring ways to expand
Absolutely.
or reach
Yeah.
and diversify your income.
It's about seeing your creative practice as a business that can be designed and managed to support your artistic goals and allow you to thrive.
Now, let's circle back to the idea of sustainability.
Okay.
We've talked about it in terms of financial stability,
Yeah.
diversifying income streams, but there's another aspect of sustainability that's important,
Yes.
and that's personal sustainability.
That's a crucial point. The Artist Business Canvas emphasizes taking care of yourself,
Right.
both physically and mentally.
Right.
It's about recognizing that you are your most valuable asset
Okay.
and that your creativity flows from your well-being.
It's not just about building a sustainable business.
Exactly.
It's about building a sustainable life as an artist.
It's about finding ways to work efficiently
Right.
without burning yourself out, to set boundaries
Okay.
that protect your time and your energy,
Right.
and to prioritize self-care practices that nurture your creativity.
So it's about creating a work-life balance that allows you to sustain your passion and creativity.
And that might mean saying no to projects that don't align with your values or goals, even if they seem lucrative in the short term.
It's about recognizing that your time and energy are valuable and need to be managed wisely.
And it's about making choices
Yeah.
that support your well-being.
Oh.
Even if those choices mean taking a step back, slowing down,
Right.
or simply saying no.
I can imagine that can be really challenging for people,
It is.
especially in today's world.
But it's essential for long-term creative sustainability. The Artist Business Canvas reminds us that our creativity is a renewable resource,
Okay.
but it needs to be replenished.
Right.
If we constantly push ourselves beyond our limits,
Yeah.
we risk depleting that resource
Right.
and losing the very thing that drives us.
That's a good point.
It's like running a marathon.
Okay.
You need to pace yourself. fuel your body
Mhm.
and rest when you need to.
Right.
If you try to sprint the entire distance,
You're going to burn out.
we'll burn out before you reach the finish line.
That's a great analogy.
And it applies to our creative work, too.
Okay. Yeah.
We need to find that sustainable pace,
Mm-hmm.
prioritize our well-being,
Right.
and recognize that rest and rejuvenation are just as important as hard work.
It's about finding a rhythm that works for you,
Exactly.
that allows you to create your best work
Yeah.
while also living a fulfilling and balanced life.
And that looks different for everyone.
Right.
The key is to listen to your own needs,
Yeah.
honor your own rhythms, create a structure that supports your unique creative process
Right.
and lifestyle.
Now let's talk about continuous learning and growth.
Okay.
The Artist Business Canvas emphasizes staying curious,
Yeah.
exploring new ideas,
Mm-hmm.
and constantly expanding your skill set.
It's about embracing a growth mindset, recognizing that learning is an ongoing process
Right.
that never really ends.
The world is constantly changing,
Yeah,
and the creative landscape is evolving even faster.
it is.
If we want to stay relevant,
Mm.
keep our work fresh,
Yeah.
we need to be willing to adapt and grow.
That might mean taking courses,
Okay.
attending workshops,
Mhm.
reading books, listening to podcasts,
Yeah.
connecting with other creatives, or simply experimenting with new techniques and approaches.
It's about staying open to those possibilities,
Yeah.
being willing to step outside your comfort zone
Mm-hmm.
and embracing the unknown.
And recognizing that failure is a part of the process.
Right.
It's not something to be feared,
Okay.
but an opportunity to gather insights and refine your approach.
The Artist Business Canvas
Mm-hmm.
encourages us to see challenges,
Yeah,
not as setbacks, but as opportunities
absolutely.
for growth and innovation.
It's about cultivating a resilient mindset
Okay.
that allows you to bounce back from setbacks, learn from your mistakes,
Right.
and keep moving forward.
It's about embracing the journey
Yeah.
with all its twists and turns,
Mm-hmm.
trusting that the process of learning and growing
Absolutely.
will lead you where you need to be.
And that's a really empowering message,
It is.
especially for creatives who might be feeling overwhelmed or discouraged by the challenges they face.
It reminds us that we're not alone,
Exactly.
that there are resources and support systems available to help us navigate this journey,
For sure.
and that the rewards of pursuing our creative passions
Yeah.
are worth the effort.
National security infrastructure. A security infrastructure is basically based on apartheid. It is based on oppression.
Yeah, people. So from a creative and an academic space, how do we meet and discuss ideas around climate security? So growing up in Zimbabwe, you have a very colonial system that's in place.
A you.
Iwe.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the Artist Business Canvas. You know, we've been exploring a lot of really practical advice for creatives, but there's this other piece of the puzzle I want to bring up.
Okay.
It's something that's often seen as kind of taboo in the art world,
Right.
this idea of art as a business.
Yeah.
Some people believe that focusing on the business side somehow diminishes the artistic integrity of the work.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's a common misconception.
Yeah.
But I think the Artist Business Canvas really challenges that notion.
Sure.
It frames business not as the enemy of art,
Mhm.
but as a tool that can actually empower artists
Okay.
to create more
Right.
freely
Okay.
and sustainably.
So it's not about selling out.
Right.
It's about setting yourself up for success so
Exactly.
you can focus on creating.
When you have that solid business foundation,
Yeah,
you're less likely to be driven by that financial desperation,
right,
which can compromise your artistic vision.
right. Instead, you can make choices
Yeah.
that align with your values,
Mhm.
experiment with new ideas,
Mhm.
and take creative risks
Absolutely.
without constantly worrying about making ends meet.
The document really emphasizes that building a successful creative business
Yeah.
isn't about sacrificing your artistic integrity.
Right.
It's about creating a structure that supports and amplifies your vision.
It's about understanding the market,
Mm.
connecting with your audience,
Yeah.
and finding ways to make your work both meaningful and financially viable.
It's about finding that sweet spot where your passion
Right.
intersects with the needs and desires of your audience.
That's where the artist business canvas
Mm-hmm.
can be so valuable.
Yeah.
It provides that framework for bridging that gap,
Mm-hmm.
for connecting your artistic vision with a solid business strategy.
It's about seeing your art,
Right.
not just as a creative expression,
Yeah.
but as a product or service that has value
Okay.
in the marketplace.
And understanding how to package it, how to market it, how to sell it
Mm-hmm.
in a way that resonates with your audience,
Exactly.
while also honoring your artistic integrity.
It's about creating a business that reflects your values,
Yeah.
your vision, your unique creative voice.
The document reminds us that being an artist
Mm-hmm.
and being an entrepreneur
Yeah,
aren't mutually exclusive. In fact, they can complement and enhance each other,
absolutely.
leading to a more fulfilling and sustainable creative journey.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the artist business canvas,
Mm-hmm.
what are some of the key takeaways that you hope our listeners will remember?
Well, I hope they'll remember that building a successful creative career
Yeah.
is a journey, not a destination.
Okay.
It's about setting clear goals,
Right.
developing a strategic plan,
Mhm.
and taking consistent action.
It's about being persistent, adaptable, and resilient,
Yeah,
embracing challenges as opportunities for growth,
absolutely.
innovation.
And it's about finding joy
Mhm.
in the process,
Yeah.
remembering why you embarked on this creative path in the first place.
The document provides so many tools and insights,
It does.
but the real magic happens when you take those principles
Right.
and apply them
Mm.
to your own unique journey.
It's about taking ownership of your career,
Okay.
making conscious choices,
Right.
and creating a business that supports both your artistic and personal goals.
The Artist Business Canvas is a fantastic resource,
It is.
but it's just the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
The real work happens when you put these ideas into action.
So, to our listener, I encourage you to explore the document,
Yeah.
experiment with the tools, the strategies,
Mm-hmm.
and find what resonates with you.
And remember, you're not alone on this journey.
They're not.
There are resources and communities
For sure.
and mentors available to support you.
Absolutely.
The world needs your art,
It does.
but more importantly,
Yeah.
it needs you to thrive as an artist.
Go out there, create something amazing,
Yes.
and build a career that truly reflects your passion
Yeah.
and purpose.
And never stop learning, growing, and evolving.
The journey is the reward.
That's a great way to end it.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
It was my pleasure.
See, I'm not even gonna lie to you, bruv. The first thing that moved me was money. I swear. So back in my mind, like wholeheartedly, I thought if I shoot a movie in Africa, because that's what it was at the time. It wasn't even like Zambia.
It was like,
Africa.
yeah.
So I'm like, if I shoot a movie in Africa, I'm gonna go back to the UK and I'm gonna have some proper brownie points because.
I know the one you Visa No Nation.
Beast
that
of
just
the
dropped.
Nation, yeah. So it was a big deal. So I'm gonna give you $1 million. Everyone here, Nando's on me, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Like, because it was. But then what I didn't realize is money runs out.
Yeah.
No shade, but shade. I'm throwing a whole tree, bruv. I want to be a big boy in London. So wrap it up.
Wrap it up. What would you want to tell the people there?